Enianshiata, Uriatiasa, Ueasiata Uaminia, Eariata Sakue. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the month of May. I'm Katara, for those who are new to watching my transmissions or receiving my monthly messages. And I like to think of it like my way of just sharing, maybe even like a verbal newsletter, because I'm just not that great with sending out emails. I'm here in Australia. I'm a light worker, a healer, a drum maker. I hold space for people. I help people to remember who they are and to find all the ways of expression and embodiment of your real, of your true, and of your light self. And so I like to share every month a few messages, themes that are very prevalent for me that are showing up. And of course, if it's showing up, that means there must be other people who are feeling this way as well. And I like to weave that with some transmissions of light language, or you might say soul expression, or just some energies to help land and integrate that all together. I know that on a monthly basis, there are some beautiful and divine beings that I love listening to. And sometimes I just like to put them on in the background and really just receive their energies, sometimes not even listening to necessarily the words that come through. And so if it resonates with you to do the same, just to listen, just to hear and receive the frequencies, maybe the words aren't that important. And may the transmissions be simply in the sounds and in the frequencies that are available to you. And so here we are at the time of this recording. It's already May 1st, 2024. And time seems to be going so quickly. It's like we've just blinked our eye and we're already here. And so one of the biggest changes right now is actually personally making a move back to the Northern Hemisphere. I have been here in Australia since 2020, a deep dive, a descent really to the down under and deep into of the soul. And it feels like it is time to re-emerge and to return back to homelands, to return to visit family, new family. And for many who have really felt the potency of the energies of April, where you had the eclipses and where you had late in the month the Jupiter and Uranus conjunct, you might have been really feeling that initiation energy, that beginning of big changes again energy. And one thing that I noted that was very helpful for me was to reflect the last time that this energy was present was back in 2010, 2011. And interestingly enough, that's exactly the time that I had also moved away from Canada, my homelands, and decided to leave to and live in the Middle East. And I stayed there for what would almost be a decade before coming here in Australia. And so here I am again in that time of transition, and where I'm feeling now that inner calling that it's time to make a move. And so if you're feeling these big yearnings or cravings to make massive, momentous changes in your life, have the courage to listen to that. It may not be moving intercontinentally or even, moving across anything, but perhaps there are lots of internal movements and shifts going on, and the universal energies are asking that you pay attention to these potential shifts in landscape. What I'm noticing is that this momentous energy is really in this spiraling steps of growth, spiraling steps of growth. And this also came through in one of the sessions that I had with a client this morning, where she was feeling a bit stuck and stagnant. And I said, well, we can't always be going up. We can't always be reaching and grabbing and efforting. There is some ease and grace at times where we feel that, let's just take a breather. So imagine taking literally like you're taking steps, right? There is the efforting that you have to lift a leg and actually take that step. And when you're on it, there is a moment's pause, if you want to call it that. And so if I imagine and see myself on this giant step where there is effort in climbing the mountain or getting somewhere up there, just for the purposes of this analogy, when I get to that step, there will be some time where there is grace allowed for us to integrate, where there is moment and time and stillness, perhaps, that nothing is going on. So don't always feel that because things aren't necessarily moving, that nothing is happening. That is the time that you're invited to go within. That is the moment that you're invited to take note of the stillness. That's the breather to take in between all these big step changes of growth. And it's not stagnancy, it is a pause. And because it's a spiraling stairwell of change, right? So if we looked at it maybe really far, it would just look like a spiral or look like it's a straight line and it's linear. But if we can zoom in, zoom in, zoom in, you would see that every line and detail there is a step change up. And perhaps what feels like, I don't know which direction I'm going, maybe it looks like it's going down, and maybe down is actually in. So take a few steps back, a wider-eyed view to seeing that where you are on the path of growth sometimes is in that efforting as you go up or down. Sometimes it's in that plateau where you're just integrating, just breathing into, just taking some stillness. And you are still on that spiral journey in. As above, so below, is what's happening inside is happening outside. And so notice where you are. Maybe this time of transition and shift now is a major gear shift and you're feeling like, oh, I am taking that next big step. That's what's happening to me. But maybe for you, it's that time where your plateau, your breathing space is a bit longer than others. So don't compare. Be where you are. Orianyata weashyata. Trust in the place that you are. Trust in the divine timing, in the grace and the space that is just for you. And there's much lovingness and a big embrace with all of these, from all of these beings, from light, from source, that provide comfort and trust to us in days when we feel, I don't know what I'm doing. The second message I have this month is about looking into the mirrors of truth. Looking into the mirrors of truth. And they are everywhere around us. They are the experiences that are happening for us. They are in the people who may shower us with compliments, who may tell us about what they see in us, who may trigger and activate parts of us that are still wounded. Mirrors of truth is simply saying that everything that happens around and for us are possibilities, are opportunities to help reflect some truth for you. Reflect the place and capacity that you're now able to accept someone who may have previously been very triggering and activating. So where do you stand now? Mirrors of truth may be shown to you in the kind of relationships that you're in, both in friendships, in work relationships, in romantic, in family. And the quality of these relationships and the energy being shown back to you, everything I feel can be a mirror of truths. I suppose it's whether we're willing to look at things in this way, whether we're willing to look deep into the mirror, into our own eyes, into our own soul, to see the golden light that we are and accept the compliments, accept the good things, accept the magic, the beauty, and the wonder. And can you also accept when they're not pleasantries thrown your way? Can you also accept when there is criticism being offered, judgment and hate, and things that are not pleasant? Can we accept them just as a mirror to show us who you are and who you are not? It is like in that reflection, in that ability to have those mirrors, events, situations around us, they help us in our discernment. They help us to know who we really, really are inside. And you are a beautiful ray of light. And that keeps coming up often for me, that we are all unique, that we are all an expression of a frequency of light, and all colors of the rainbow and all rays of light are needed to be the rainbow tribe, to be total and whole. The third message I have for you is to be weaving your mastery. And so with all of these reflections of truth available around you, perhaps you are deepening into your awakening journey. Perhaps it is new for you to discover things, new for you to discover new modalities in your healing. Maybe you never made sound before and now you're really drawn to using singing bowls. Maybe you never thought that you were spiritual and now you're doing yoga and, hippie-like stuff. Maybe words and ways to describe you that you would have long rejected before are now quite interesting and curious for you. Whatever is awakening for you, new expressions of yourself, new ways in which you're working, new people that are coming into your field, it feels like there's a lot of unmasking energy where it is possible for us to recognize more truth about ourselves. I am that sound being. I am able to be in my body and feel good doing yoga. I am healer. I was in a workshop not too long ago, a drum making workshop, facilitating, hosting, holding space. And I would have to say that almost more than half of the participants were owning and claiming their healer self. When you ask the question of who are you, why are you here, and they're like, I know I'm a healer. So they maybe many of you that are awakening to that. And if you listen to some of my previous month's messages, I'm acknowledging that there's all light workers rising right now, those who live from the heart, those who are wishing to inspire and to really exude and carry these frequencies of unconditional love. And so you may be a healer rising in you, for we are all our self-healers. There may be lots of new things that are not feeling new because they're feeling like you're just remembering how to be this way. So pay attention to that. Maybe in some of these new things that you are trying and dabbling in and playing with are not so new, and they are helping you to actually truly remember who you are. And so in sharing these brief messages, because there's so many divine people that have so many things to share, is just some reassurance every month that you're not alone in this journey, and that there's a big invitation from the universe for you to come and express yourself, come and express your light. That means in exactly what you're doing. Speaking your truth, speaking up, sharing your opinions, sharing your beliefs, changing other people's beliefs. I would have never imagined a few years ago that I would be a podcaster or speaking openly, calling my YouTube channel Awakening Dragons. All of that is new to me, but there's a deepest part of my soul that none of this is new. I have been speaking for those who do not wish to speak, for those who cannot speak, for a long time. I have been expressing and maybe in some ways being on the front line and daring to show self so that others feel the permission that you may show yourselves as well in all of your light, in all of your expressions. And I am still figuring out my expression. And so my whole platform of Awakening Dragons, both on YouTube and as a podcast, is for us to dabble and be curious and creative in our cosmic remembrance as we are fascinated in wonder once again just how multidimensional and magical we actually are. And to myself, bravely and courageously to show up, just to speak, just to be seen. And hopefully if that inspires even 1, 2, 3 millions of you, I'm so humbled to be part of the awakening journey, of the ascension right now that is happening, whether you acknowledge it or not. And so I invite you to step more into your power. And for the next few minutes, I invite you to maybe close your eyes and to receive my energy through song and through light transmission. And to ask the body, ask your own wisdom of what information is contained in this transmission that is available for my highest good. What resonance do you have with me? For the one known as Katara, but actually you're in resonance with some aspect of my multidimensional self. Eriashiata Soriatata Yanianseya Anyanseya Arianya Soate Haryanyan Soye Haryanya Sohe Wantaye Ansa Wante Aryansa Hoeashia Ho. For many of us have been here many lifetimes already. Many of us journeying together. Perhaps this is not our first Lightworker mission together. May we remember who we are, and for those who remember sooner than others, that we allow ourselves to help each other rise, to help each other shine, to support one another in our journey. And perhaps that support is simply a smile. Perhaps that support is simply an embrace. Perhaps that support is your silence and your acceptance of all that is. And most importantly, that we may shine from our heart space, illuminating all our heart spaces and being our shiny, multifaceted self. Orianyanta Satueata. Arian shine with the deepest love. You are supported, you are guided, you are held in every step of your journey. And your families of light gather around. Iriaya so ayanyanya suryatariya ha. And it matters not whether a sound, an energy, a transmission is 2 minutes long or 2 hours long. It speaks directly into your soul. And I hope that you have found the messages uplifting. If you resonate with some of the messages or enjoy the sound, I invite you to join the Dragon Song Circle. It's a monthly circle that I hold for a subscription of $11 a month. And again, just a regular space and place for us to receive, to hear some supportive messages, to receive a much longer transmission, for us to remind ourselves that it is up to us to create sacred space and time as well, for you to deeply connect with the divine. And so may you take these messages into your day, into your night, and may you travel gently for the month to come. I'm just feeling lots of spaciousness to allow for things to unfold, and I have no doubt that there will be lots unfolding. And so, brave light workers, truth seekers, visionaries, you are supported in your human teams of support and in your cosmic team. Sending you lots of light and love, and I'll see you soon, either in circle or back here next month.